Single dad helped a stranger at midday, then realized it was the CEO who fired him that morning. The cardboard box in Rowan Carter's trembling hands held everything he had left from 10 years of loyal service. A framed photo of his 8-year-old daughter Lily, a worn coffee mug she had painted with tiny blue hearts, and a notebook filled with dreams that suddenly felt impossible. Just 3 hours earlier, he had walked into the company believing he was finally getting the promotion he had worked toward for years. Instead, he was escorted out of the building after a sudden restructuring ordered by the company's new CEO. As the glass doors closed behind him, Rowan looked at the city one last time, wondering how he would explain to his little girl that the future they had planned had disappeared before lunchtime. Before we continue this emotional journey, if you believe that kindness and second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, leave a heartfelt comment, and subscribe to Kindness Tales Journey. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories that remind the world compassion still exists. The rest of the afternoon passed slowly beneath a bright blue sky filled with warm sunshine. Rowan avoided crowded streets, trying to hide the pain written across his face. Every passing office tower reminded him of everything he had lost. He had never missed deadlines, never betrayed his company, and never stopped believing that hard work would always be rewarded. Yet one unexpected decision had erased years of dedication in a single morning. What hurt even more was knowing that Lily depended entirely on him. Since losing his wife Emma to illness 4 years earlier, Rowan had promised himself that his daughter would never feel abandoned again. Every sacrifice he made had been for her smile. When school ended, Lily ran into his arms with the same bright energy she carried every day. She excitedly talked about a science project and how she wanted to become someone who helped people solve problems. Rowan forced a smile, hiding the truth until they reached home. Their small apartment was modest but filled with love. Family photographs decorated the walls, handmade drawings covered the refrigerator, and every corner reflected memories created despite hardship. That evening Rowan quietly explained that he had lost his job. Lily listened carefully before wrapping her tiny arms around him and whispering that heroes sometimes had difficult days too. Her innocent faith became the only light inside his dark thoughts. The next morning Rowan began searching for work immediately. He visited offices, submitted applications, and called old colleagues, but every answer sounded the same. Companies were freezing hiring, reducing staff, or looking for candidates with different experience. Hours turned into disappointment after disappointment. Even so, Rowan refused to give up because every rejection reminded him of the promise he had made to his daughter. As the afternoon sun reached its highest point, Rowan decided to walk through a quieter part of the city instead of taking the bus home. The weather was unusually warm, and the sidewalks shimmered beneath the bright daylight. Trees along the road provided small patches of shade where exhausted workers rested during lunch breaks. Rowan noticed a silver luxury sedan stopped near the edge of a peaceful park. One of its tires had completely burst, and beside the vehicle stood a woman dressed in a simple business suit. Without expensive jewelry or security nearby, she looked surprisingly ordinary, though worry filled her expression as she struggled to lift a heavy emergency tire from the trunk. Most people walked past without slowing down. Some glanced briefly before continuing with their busy schedules. Rowan almost did the same. After everything that had happened, he felt he had nothing left to give. Yet Lily's words echoed in his mind. Heroes help even when life becomes unfair. Taking a deep breath, he walked toward the stranded stranger and quietly offered assistance. The woman accepted with visible relief. Rowan carefully replaced the damaged tire using the car's tools while sweat rolled down his forehead beneath the afternoon sun. His hands were rough from years of honest work, and despite his own troubles, he completed the repair with patience and care. The woman thanked him sincerely and admitted she had never learned how to change a tire herself. Rowan simply smiled and wished her a better day before preparing to leave. As she reached into her handbag, intending to reward him for his kindness, Rowan politely declined. He explained that helping someone who genuinely needed assistance should never require payment. Kindness, he believed, was one of the few things in life that became more valuable the more freely it was given. The woman looked at him with quiet curiosity and asked why someone facing obvious hardship could still choose generosity over bitterness. Rowan answered honestly. He said anger would never buy groceries, heal broken hearts, or make his daughter proud. He wanted Lily to grow up believing goodness still mattered, even when life seemed unfair. Rowan froze as realization slowly reached him. The stranger whose car he had just repaired was the very executive who had unknowingly destroyed his livelihood only hours before. Neither spoke for several long seconds while the sounds of birds and distant traffic filled the silence. Evelyn admitted she had not known the people behind the employee files placed before her. The board had insisted immediate cuts were necessary to save the company from financial collapse. She had reviewed numbers, departments, and reports without understanding the lives connected to every signature. Standing before Rowan, she finally saw the human cost hidden behind spreadsheets and corporate decisions. Instead of accusing her, Rowan simply nodded. He told her he understood difficult decisions existed in business, even if they caused pain. His greatest concern was never himself but the daughter waiting at home who believed everything would somehow be all right. Those words remained in Evelyn's thoughts long after Rowan walked away. That evening she returned to headquarters unable to focus on meetings or financial forecasts. For the first time she requested complete personnel records instead of summary reports. She discovered Rowan had consistently received outstanding performance reviews, trained new employees without recognition, volunteered for community outreach programs, and had never taken unnecessary leave despite raising his daughter alone. His dismissal had been based entirely on department reduction rather than individual performance. The following days brought unexpected changes. Evelyn ordered an internal review of every termination completed during the restructuring. Several managers admitted they had recommended removing experienced employees simply because higher salaries improved short-term financial results. Their reports ignored dedication, leadership, and long-term value. Meanwhile, Rowan continued searching for work. He delivered food during weekends, repaired neighbors' furniture for extra income, and accepted temporary warehouse shifts whenever available. Every evening he still helped Lily with homework, read bedtime stories, and reminded her that difficult seasons never lasted forever. One bright afternoon, Rowan received an unexpected phone call requesting that he return to the company headquarters. Unsure what awaited him, he dressed in his cleanest shirt and arrived with quiet determination. Instead of security guards, he was welcomed personally by Evelyn. She apologized sincerely for judging employees through numbers instead of humanity. She explained that meeting him beside the roadside had changed the way she viewed leadership forever. A company could recover financially, she admitted, but losing people with integrity created damage impossible to measure. Rather than offering Rowan his previous position, Evelyn presented something completely different. She invited him to become Director of Employee Development, a role responsible for mentoring staff, improving workplace culture, and ensuring future corporate decisions considered both business needs and human dignity. His compassion had demonstrated qualities no resume alone could ever reveal. Rowan hesitated. Part of him still carried the pain of losing everything in a single morning. Yet he remembered the example he wanted to set for Lily. Forgiveness did not erase hurt, but it created space for healing. Accepting the opportunity would allow him to help protect other families from experiencing the same heartbreak. Months passed, and the company slowly transformed. Employee satisfaction improved dramatically. Managers received leadership training focused on empathy alongside performance. Financial recovery continued, but so did trust throughout the organization. Rowan became known as the leader who listened before making decisions, while Evelyn earned respect for admitting mistakes instead of hiding them. One afternoon the company hosted a family appreciation event in the courtyard under clear blue skies. Lily proudly stood beside her father as employees applauded the man whose kindness had changed far more than a flat tire. Evelyn quietly thanked Lily for teaching her father never to stop believing in compassion, even during life's hardest moments. As the celebration continued, Rowan looked around at smiling families, laughing children, and co-workers supporting one another. He realized losing his job had not been the end of his story. It had become the unexpected beginning of something greater than he had ever imagined. If this story has touched your heart and reminded you that even small acts of kindness can change someone's future, please support this video by liking it, sharing it with family and friends, subscribing to Kindness Tales Journey, and leaving an honest comment about the moment that moved you the most. Special request: before the story ends, tell us in the comments, have you ever forgiven someone who unintentionally hurt you? Your story may inspire another person who needs hope today. Sometimes life tests our character before it reveals our purpose. Rowan chose kindness when bitterness would have been easier. Evelyn chose humility when pride would have been more comfortable. Together they proved that compassion can rebuild what disappointment destroys, and that one selfless act performed in broad daylight can brighten the future of countless lives. In a world that often rewards speed over sincerity, may we never forget that the greatest success is not measured by wealth or titles, but by the lives we choose to lift when they need us most.